My feed today, it's all Chapel Roan kid drama, liberals shaking hands with MAGA, talking shit about the aid mission to Cuba, top 10. Yeah, and then, okay, yes, also that. Also, in the midst of this absurd, yet again smear campaign against Chapel Roan, global hate campaign at this point, the amount of disgusting posts I have seen about the Cuba aid mission, I mean, it's quintessential scratch a liberal type of vibe. It's so, it feels really depressing. It's really it's so grotesque, infuriating. I'm gonna read Marshy's post because I thought this was a really nicely written post. Out of Cuba on the way home, finally have access to the internet. I'm having a hard time putting into words the thoughts that I have on my experience there the past couple days. The level of cruelty that the oil blockade the U.S. imposes on the day-to-day lives of everyday Cubans cannot be overstated. Everyday conveniences and essential services that we take for granted are completely non-existent. Entire systems that were already dilapidated by decades of sanctions and restrictions from participating globally start to break down exponentially when you remove fuel from the equation. The innovation required to accomplish the most basic tasks is astounding. People existing at night in complete darkness from the blackouts, just trying their best to lead normal lives in spite of the lack of power. Yet every Cuban person I met was extremely kind, patient, and welcoming. The resilience the people of the island have is extremely admirable and heartbreaking to witness. Cuba's a beautiful place with amazing people and insane potential. What the U.S. has done to that island is shameful and nothing short of inhumane. And it's really gross to me to see people condescendingly refer to everyone who went to Cuba as influencers looking for clout. Most of the people who went are regular folk who work, as activists, who are volunteers. But the thing is, too, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit if they're all influencers looking for clout as you speak? They're still doing something. They still brought life-saving vital aid to a place that is suffering immensely because of the United States government. So I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if it's all clout-chasing influencers, which fuck off out of here anyway. But what are you doing? You're sitting on Twitter, picking your butt, talking about how, these people just want clout. What are you doing? What are you doing to help people? Have you ever done anything to help a single person? No, because you're an individualist piece of shit. All you care about is yourself. And you know what? Maybe I'll say the same thing, that you're looking for clout by disparaging people who went to Cuba to bring humanitarian aid. What's your point of posting on Twitter hoping that you'll get some likes? What's that called? Because I'm doing the math here, and that ain't helping anybody. I don't see you bringing aid and calling out influencers who are clout chasing. You're just sitting on your fucking ass. If people would like to get clout by bringing humanitarian aid, that's actually helpful and gets to people. Yes. Okay, fine. Great. And you know what is what's so crazy, what's so fucking crazy is how many of these people, they are blinded by hatred for one person, for one streamer. That is how narrow, unbelievably narrow their entire worldview is. Your life, you spend your life looking through this one lens. There are hundreds of people who went to Cuba from various, representing various nonprofits and activist organizations, and yet one guy who's a streamer that you don't like. And that is what is shaping your opinion on literally everything. It's your entire identity and is the saddest fucking thing. It makes me sick. It makes me sick that there are people who this is their entire identity. This is what, like, they exist in this world and cannot operate from any framework other than, I hate this guy. So this entire country be damned. So I support a genocide. It's insane. It is sickening. And it makes me in constant disbelief still. It's like I can't accept it almost. I can't accept that there are so many people like this. And it's so pathetically sad. It's so pathetically sad. Who gives a shit about how you personally feel towards one streamer? Like, you cannot spend your life like this. Why did he wear expensive eyeglasses to poor countries? Surely his mission activism has nothing to do with the noted economic situation in Cuba. And it's like, can you not put aside your hate for one dude and recognize the good of this mission? Is like, that is, it's deranged. It's deranged that you cannot, that's impossible. Craziest part is that there are organizations that have been delivering aid to Cuba for years. These people only make a big stink about it because Hassan and other folks with the platform willing to highlight the conditions brought by the blockade. I mean, ultimately, we know it's just about Hassan, though. That it is. It's like there were other people on that trip who have a big platform. It's one guy. They are one guide in their real lives every single day. You know, there are people that I do not like, individuals I do not like, but you know what I don't do? I don't spend my precious life, and I do not have this worldview around a content creator that I don't like. Deleting Twitter has been so great for my mental health. I'm happy for you. I can avoid the 8 hours of doom scrolling, just catch up on things I've missed here. They don't care about Cuba, what's going on in Cuba. They want more reasons to spew out nonsensical tweets about leftist bad or whatever for these particular people that will never change. It is an obsession. It is. I don't even obsess over people this much that I love. Like, it is bizarre. It's bizarre. It's fucking whack. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with these people. It's like, man, do you know how the odds are practically impossible for you as a living, breathing human being to be here on this planet? Like, everything that had to sync up and happen for you to be here. And I say this all the time, but you're wasting your fucking life. You are wasting your life. And I know you think this gives you purpose. It does not. Everything in the universe lined up so I could tweet about Hassan. So I could tweet about Hassan for the 1,000th time. Okay. Anyway, I have to move on because I am just in a constant state of, I am so over this shit. I'm so over this shit. I'm so over this shit. I'm so over all this shit. And days like days like this last day, I honestly go, I don't know how to change things. I feel like I'm giving up. But no, I'm not giving up. No, I'm not giving up. Brenna, thank you for the 9 months. Swirly, thank you for the 11 months. Good luck, babe. Good luck, babe. Okay. On a positive note, I joined DSA today. Good for you. Okay. All right. I just... Please, people, put your time and your energy into anything else. I want it to be something good. You know, I want it to be good and productive and actually worthwhile. But at least put your time and your energy into something that is not, you know, disparaging good and worthwhile things. And for the love of God, just to wrap up the chapel thing for now, I'll probably touch on it more tomorrow, but because it's always the bigger picture problem, right? It's always like chapel this is just a microcosm of a macro. And I need people to we all need to constantly be checking ourselves. What impulses do we have? Why do we immediately react these ways? Why, when confronted with a different perspective, why when I know that not everyone is just totally blind in their misogynistic hate. I know sometimes that you'll feel that little thing in you that's like, oh, and then when you see people highlighting the problem, I know that it's there. I know. Kill the reactionary within you. Yes. Kill the reactionary within you. When you have a take that is what a lot of people's take is in that moment, that doesn't mean that you're actually right. It doesn't mean that just because you've seen a bunch of posts go viral that are all cohesive in bashing this pop star, right? Chapel Roan. It does not, you are not morally correct just because a lot of people are echoing that same sentiment. And I'm telling you that this world we live in, where we have billionaire pedophile cabals, where we have child abusers exercising enormous power politically, culturally, economically, when we see all the time these stories about abuse and violence, do we get that we may not all be pedophiles, although there's more every day than you think there are. We may not all be directly abusing women, abusing children, but participating in cultural misogyny, participating in a culture that provides this permission structure then. That we have a responsibility because we are members of this society. So if we want to stop this, if we want to stop how prevalent abuse is in this world, how the issue of women and girls, the violence that they face in this world being a global health issue, that there is mass sex trafficking of children around the world. In order to stop that, like it starts with these kinds of things. It starts with, and I know that you might go, huh? What? Caroline is linking the smear campaign against Chapel Roan to there being pedophile rings around this. Yes, I am. Yes. Yes. Because it is connected. It is connected. This is a very conveniently loud yet subtle redirection of the current rise in class consciousness. And then it's like I think of Cesar Chavez. I think of Dolores Huerta and other women who were harmed by him and held that for decades. And that, you know, we had this conversation about how the idea of no war but class war, yes, but that you cannot have liberation, you cannot build liberatory movements when we still continue to perpetuate violence against oppressed groups. That when we just recreate these power structures within movements that are fighting external power. And I like speaking specifically to women, girls. So often y'all are on the front line of participating in this rampant, pervasive, misogynistic bullshit. I see you. I see you on the snark pages. I see you with the TikToks. I hear you when you're out in the world. I hear you speak the way that you speak about women, the way that you speak about the women in your lives, the way that you internalize this hatred against women and then externalize that. I see that and it needs to fucking stop. Look, I get it. I grew up and continue to grow up in this world as well. I have struggled, continue to, with internalized misogyny. This is something I am not perfect on. I still will sometimes fall. And then I have to check myself or hope that someone else can check me. Because when this is the world that you are raised in, it is normalized. It is so deeply internalized. It's the same way that I internalized like anti-Asian hatred. And I have had to work on dismantling that. Like there is a lot of internal work that I, a person who speaks about these things all the time, am still doing. I am still doing this stuff. I am still going, hold on a second. Why is that my instinct? Why did I, if I'm being honest with myself, why did I initially feel this kind of nastiness towards this woman? And I'm not saying women are perfect. Women do bad things sometimes. I get that, okay? But in being honest and in always being in always trying to seek that awareness of how we individually contribute to these pervasive cultural issues, you will catch yourself. You will. And we have to keep doing that, because if we don't question it, if we don't seek to root that out, then things ain't going to change. How can we expect this world is going to change when we as individuals can't even do our own part? How? That we think it's everyone else's the problem and that it'll just get fixed? No, it won't. Me working through my internalized Islamophobia in a post 9/11 world, because I always felt awful about being othered by the culture and people. We all have these internalized issues that come from an external world that normalizes all of this and teaches it to us, ingrains it in us. For sure, if you are marginalized, you most likely have to overcome hatred throughout your whole life. And I promise you that when you are a person who's marginalized in this world and you participate in that marginalization, it is not going to make things better for you. It is not going to make you accepted. It is not going to give you an advantage. It is not going to do anything but further solidify the bars on your fucking cage. All right. Anyway,